And go.
Hello everyone, it's Tammy Day 2009, and I'm finally back with, you guessed it, the Sunset Shimmer plush review. Now, last video, I've already talked about Derpy Hooves before, but today we're going to be talking about my favorite character from Equestria Girls. Now, notice you're probably like, what about Rainbow Dash? Yes, I love Rainbow Dash, but she's just Rainbow Dash. Like, what else can I say in Equestria Girls? Like, these other characters act the same, except for Sunset. So, join me as I talk about why I love Sunset Shimmer and why she's the only thing I love about Equestria Girls. So, I'm going to be very clear here. I know this is going to be a very big hot take, but I'm not the biggest fan of Equestria Girls. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is about it that I'm not a fan of, but it just doesn't really click with me as much as Friendship is Magic does. Now, there are a lot of reasons why I love this show. It's creative, the stories are different, the show has an ensemble cast, they come up with new story ideas, and they don't just recycle plots. Well, they did one time with non-compete clause, which I'm not a fan of, but that's besides the point. So, here we have Sunset Shimmer. So, Sunset Shimmer has quite the interesting, story to her, and, the interesting backstory to her, and the interesting redemption arc as well. Now, I'm probably going to be making a lot of comparisons to Starlight at this point, because these two are basically, really identical in terms of character trait and redemption arc. But they're slightly different, and I'll explain why. So, if you're wondering why I'm not a fan of Equestria Girls, it's because, for some reason, they decide to make it a show about human characters and make the ponies become humans. So...
Do they change back and forth, or are they human the whole time?
They go from dimension to dimension.
Oh, that's weird.
So, I mean, it's like other, time travel, shows, but except this one's probably, one of the more, weirder ones, because, Alright, but
oh,
let's
yeah,
begin
it does
with
go
Sunset
to a
Shimmer.
person.
Alright, so, Sunset Shimmer is basically, one of Celestia's old students. Now, there isn't really a type of backstory to her, but there is one fan-made backstory. There's this one video I saw from Mr. Incredible where he reacts to a video called The Fall of Sunset Shimmer, which is basically, a fan-made backstory to what happened, how she became antagonistic, and it ends with them...
Is she bad?
She's not bad anymore. She used to be.
Okay.
Like how Starlight was.
Right.
But I feel like Starlight's done worse than Sunset Shimmer. And I'll explain later. So, in the movie begins with Twilight still coming to terms with being a princess, getting used to her new life, with her new pair of wings and her new crown. I mean, she feels a little bit insecure, but not entirely.
That's Twilight?
Yeah, the purple one in the middle.
Okay.
So, and then a little bit of the movie goes by, and then it's nighttime, and everyone's asleep. Then someone breaks in and steals her crown. That pony being Sunset Shimmer over here. Yeah, she was wearing a cloak type, a black cloth.
And she was a horse at that point.
Yeah, and she stole Twilight's crown. And then Twilight tries to chase after her, and then Sunset Shimmer goes through this weird mirror portal thing. And the only way Twilight can get her crown back is if she goes through it and goes into this world that we don't know yet. And Spike tags along with her because, of course, you can't have one without the other. Yeah, Spike's kind of Twilight's sidekick. And then Twilight Sparkle becomes a human. And then she starts looking at herself, and she starts freaking out. And if I was in this situation,
where you hit the mirror and then turned into a horse, yeah, I would be a little freaked out, too.
Yeah. And then she's starting, trying to figure out, what her legs do,
right,
why she has
Ariel
hands.
from Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Where she's, kicking her toes.
And then she goes into this high school. Now, I don't think the high school concept is that bad. It's just the human aspect.
Right.
And then we meet Sunset Shimmer, who starts bullying Fluttershy. And
Fluttershy's a person, too?
Yeah.
They all are.
They all are.
Okay.
However, her friends act differently because they're altered, I think they kind of look like her friends, but they just act different.
Do the humans that voice the ponies on Friendship is Magic voice the same characters?
Yeah, they're the same voices.
Okay.
It's just the human designs and the pony designs
the animation is different.
Way too different.
Right.
Really different. So then Twilight starts to meet all of her friends from the different dimension as humans. And the fact that she is a human herself.
And they operate at the same time in both worlds?
No, the whole movie starts off with the pony world, but then there's no subplot.
Right.
So
you don't know how they all got there?
No, we do know how Sunset Shimmer got here through the mirror.
But what about everybody else?
No, they're all from
already there.
They're just already there. So it's just Twilight and Sunset and Spike going through this dimension. So yeah, they turn Sunset Shimmer into a bully, which is like, we've seen this before with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon as well, and with a few other characters like Gilda. So this probably isn't anything new, but she still acts a bit antagonistic. So then she also meets this other guy named Flash Sentry, who is actually Sunset Shimmer's ex-boyfriend. Yeah, if you don't know, he broke up with Sunset Shimmer a long time ago.
As humans?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Is he a pony?
Well, he is in Friendship is Magic. He's one of the royal guards.
Okay.
So then, there's like a bunch of stuff happens. Like Twilight goes to detention. Like the main six sing this cafeteria song in the cafeteria, which is, you could say, is a pretty catchy song, although I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know. And in the final climax, Sunset Shimmer turns into a demon and kidnaps Spike and brainwashes everyone except for Twilight's friends.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, it's a little creepy.
It's a little much.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, the show isn't too afraid to be dark, which is kind of interesting. Like, the show does have a lot of edgy moments in it. And at the end, Sunset Shimmer is defeated. She starts crying, and then Twilight Sparkle and her friends. Okay, here's one thing I don't like about Sunset Shimmer. She was forgiven too easily, as Mr. Incredibury said. Like, here's the difference with Starlight. So, I already think Starlight has done worse because she used to be a dictator who stole everyone's key marks and made them equal. And then after she got defeated once, she went back in time to get revenge on Twilight and almost changed the history. Just to ruin everyone's life. But then we give her a backstory where she had an old friend named Sunburst who actually abandoned her and got a key mark before she did. So that's why she became a dictator. But then Twilight Sparkle actually decides to take her with her and have her redeem herself. And then at the end of the episode, her and her friends are just talking while Starlight is waiting outside, contemplating, like, what do we do with her? And then they call her in, and Starlight admits she's ready to be punished, which is something that Sunset Shimmer would normally not do. I mean, she did apologize, but that's a little different. So then Twilight and her friends offered Starlight to become her pupil, and that's how it was, until season 7 where she graduated. So, now with that in mind, I feel like Sunset Shimmer, like, even though she hasn't done worse, like, people still, the students in Candela High still hate her for what she did. But the thing about Starlight is that people don't know what she did because they haven't met her before. Which I guess would explain why Sunburst doesn't know that she was evil. And Starlight is even worried that she might. So that's one thing I like. Now, at the end, I might try to explain, like, how I would have added Sunset Shimmer to Friendship is Magic, if I have time.
You're at 8 minutes now.
Okay, so this actually isn't too bad. We're going through this rapid fire, like, with Derpy. But yeah. So, these two are pretty similar, but there are a lot of differences. Like, Starlight Glimmer is very anxious and worried and shy. Meanwhile, since they made them humans, they decided to make Sunset Shimmer into an angsty teenager. But yeah.
Are you going to talk about the plush itself?
Yeah, at the end. But
okay.
After Sunset Shimmer was forgiven, like, they still did punish her, but not in the way you'd think. They had her clean up the entire school after it was damaged by her. After she became a demon. Now, in the sequel, like Rainbow Rocks, people still don't like her and they're giving her angry looks, but however, Sunset Shimmer does still want to redeem herself. And I know people are going to say that Rainbow Rocks is their favorite sequel of the Equestria Girls. I can definitely see why, because of the Dazzlings. But now, another problem I have is that the stories feel too samey. Like, they're in the same location, like school. Although they do go to newer locations, like going camping and being in the Olympics, and
they go to high school in the Pony World also?
No.
Okay.
But, like, My Little Pony is just like a separate fantasy world, like, where there's like no cars or telephones or vacuum cleaners.
But there's all of that in the human.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, there are trains in Ponyville. Yeah. And there's just like above there are like medieval, like mythical locations.
Yeah, right.
Like, it has like the sort of mythical vibe to it. Like,
is the people one set in a city?
Yeah, it's in a like human world. Like, there's a school, like they go camping, they start a rock band together. they go to the Olympics. Like,
Is there just
but-
other random people there too?
we see this in real life. Like, when you go to school, like, sometimes there'll be, like, talent shows.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have, like, summer camp. And there's even an Olympics as well.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. And believe me, I've been to a couple of them myself. And I have gone to summer camp once.
You've been to the Olympics?
In Stillwater. Like,
Oh, Special Olympics. Okay.
yeah, Special Olympics.
Gotcha.
Remember when I used to play baseball?
I do remember that.
But yeah. So we've already seen, like, all this before in real life. So this really isn't nothing too special.
Gotcha.
I feel like what they could have done was, like, they could have, like, made more new locations and, like, not have every character appear in the same episodes, and
Or just not made of people.
like what they do in this show.
Mm.
Like, and for the fact, like, there are no humans, like, it saves them the trouble of actually dying, because, like, sometimes they'll get injured themselves, but they have doctors who are ponies as well. And they do get body casts as
Who's
well.
the Dr. Pony?
Well, there are a couple. There's Nurse
Oh.
Redheart, there's
Uh-huh.
Screw Loose, there's Dr. Horse, there's,
Dr. Horse?
I think that's his name.
Okay.
But yeah. The show basically does have a lot of, like, human-like locations, but they're still ponies. And
right.
they still
Like
do,
restaurants and stuff like
like,
that.
human stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And they even eat hay burgers as well at one point. I mean, at least it's not cannibalism.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or they're not eating cows.
But yeah. Alright, so. But yeah. Anyways, like, I feel like Sunset Shimmer does have a pretty interesting redemption arc. Although it's nothing like Starlight's redemption arc, where she actually does learn a lot of stuff.
Okay, you're at 12.
Alright, so. But yeah. So, here's how I would have added Sunset Shimmer into Friendship is Magic. Ready? Here we go.
Ready.
So, for Equestria Girls, I would keep the story the same and, like, still have Sunset Shimmer steal Twilight's crown and then going into the human world. Only, I would keep the human concept if it only happened one time. Like, if it's just...
Right.
If this was just, like, a one-off
Like
type
a
of
story,
movie.
right.
Like, a story and not just...
Yeah.
A bunch of stories, like, in a
Mhm.
series. I feel like that would... I feel like I would have been contempt.
Right.
And, like,
Content.
Content?
Yeah. Because it freaks me out
That's the
because...
same content.
Yeah, it's just a different... Well, it's a different word, but yeah, it's spelled the same.
Is
What
the P
freaks
silent?
me out is...
In contempt. Is a P silent?
Yeah, because you just say it real fast. Contempt.
Alright.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so what freaks me out is that, assuming that everything you've said, you have all the ponies characters
Yeah.
living...
And fictional, like, mythical
they're all-
world.
But they're all living in pony world, but at the same time, on the other side of a magical mirror,
You
the
have a
same
human
characters
world.
are also at the same time existing in a human world.
Yeah.
So they've got two dimensions where they're at the same time. They're not jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird. And the humans do have cute outfits, but it's just the fact that they
Who
are
goes through
humans
the mirror?
themselves. Twilight, Sunset, and Spike.
Okay, so when Twilight goes through the mirror, say she saw Applejack
Yeah.
in Pony World,
But
then
then,
she would
like,
also run into Applejack in the human world, but they don't show Applejack crossing over, so you
No.
assume that Pony Applejack is still there too, so
Yeah.
there's two at the same time. I don't like that.
And if she did, there would be two Applejacks.
Right, and what if...
And I think at one point, like, Sunset Shimmer meets
Yeah.
Starlight Glimmer in season 7. Like, actually, this happened in the actual show. In this one short called Mirror Magic, where they both meet each other, and then Sunset Shimmer drags Starlight in with the human world with her.
But they never have one where the person and the pony
Mm.
of the same character meet themselves.
They never have, like... I think they, like... No, wait. There's this one, like, special where Rainbow Dash, Twilight, and Sunset are sinking in quicksand in the human world, and then they become ponies, because it's like a portal. And then they end up in Ponyville.
But they don't meet each other. Like,
No.
you don't have Twilight Human and Twilight Pony
Actually-
interacting with each other.
Twilight Sparkle meets Psy-Twi, who is actually another version of human Twilight. Like, I think...
Okay, like a clone?
Yeah, like, basically a clone.
But they're both
of Twilight.
humans at that point.
But yeah, but then Psy-Twi becomes a pony in Spring Breakdown, and
Oh my God.
she meets Twilight in Ponyville. Like,
That's trippy.
this is, like, a lot
Yeah,
of, like...
that'll blow your brain.
This isn't, like, Back to the Future, I don't think.
It's kind of like that, though. Like, where he meets a
Where
girl
Marty
that he likes and
McFly
it
goes
turns out
back
to
in
be his
time.
mom. Yeah. Oh,
I've never seen Back to the Future, but, like...
we have all three of them.
And I think there's, like, a bunch of other time travel stuff, like
Uh-huh.
this... like,
Okay.
Doctor Strange or whatever.
You're at Doctor Who. You're at 15.
Alright, 15, so... But yeah, like I said, with that out of the way, here's what I also would have done. So, I mean, I would also keep the final climax where Sunset Shimmer like has her becomes the demon and like she gets defeated. But instead of forgiving her easily, I feel like Twilight Sparkle and her friends should have like thought about this through, and then maybe have Sunset Shimmer become Twilight Sparkle's pupil,
Right.
like how Starlight became hers.
And teach her how to be
Good.
different. Yeah.
So when Twilight goes back to her home, she asks Princess Celestia, "Would it be all right if I taught Sunset Shimmer?"
That
Since,
makes sense.
Remember, Twilight Sparkle is no longer her pupil because she has her wings.
Okay.
I feel like Celestia would probably think that was a great idea. So yeah, and then we don't see Sunset Shimmer until season 6. So in season 5, we'd still have Starlight have her redemption in the end. And then what would be interesting is that if they both like joined each other and started to meet in the season 6 premiere, like you'd still have Starlight reunite with Sunburst, but you could also like have the subplot where Sunset Shimmer like reunites with Celestia after Twilight Sparkle and her friends.
But the way they've done it now, Sunset doesn't go into the horse world as a horse.
Well, she does occasionally, but like
Okay.
I said, you still have the plot where Starlight reunites with Sunburst with the help of Spike, but you could have also like have it where Sunset Shimmer has to reunite with Princess Celestia.
Okay.
When they go and meet Flurry Heart, and then I think the story would still continue as normal. Only Sunset Shimmer would be involved. And you could still have like the Starlight episodes continue as normal, like where she meets Trixie, when she has to defeat Queen Chrysalis. But you could also have Sunset Shimmer join in as well. Now I think that would sort of be interesting as well, because then we'd have like 2 redemption arcs in the same season, which would actually be more epic as well and more interesting. But yeah, that's how I would add Sunset Shimmer as well. Anyways, yeah. So, anyways,
The plushie?
yeah. So, with all that out of the way, I think I've rambled long enough about Sunset Shimmer.
Yeah, you're at 18.
But she's still pretty cute. I like her design. I think she has a cute voice. Like, I think Rebecca Choisha does a pretty good job.
The hair is like a hat. It's like a big, giant hair.
But yeah. Here's everything about the plushie. So, she's this nice little, like, gold-yellow color.
It's pretty.
She has nice turquoise eyes, like Fluttershy. The main style is pretty cute. Like, I can see why Mr. Incredible considers this to be his favorite main style. And she does have a little bit of a fiery design to her. And she has, like... Hold on. The Q mark is sort of like the sun from Tangled.
Oh, yeah, it is. Like her little symbol.
Yeah. You know, like...
that she sees on the flag that in the ceiling that reminds her who she is.
Yeah. And I do like this little hair swoop on the hair on the top of the mane.
Turn it around to the back.
Yeah.
There you go.
The horn is a little bit small, like the other ponies. And she does have, like, the embroidered lines on the mane.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Like, this is sort of different compared to the other ponies where, like, all the colors are, like, attached.
Mm-hmm.
But, like...
when they're over the top like that, it's called applique.
I even like the little swoop on the bottom side.
Yeah, I like the little curly Q hair.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like, I think this is one of the best ones they've done, and I'm kind of surprised that they did.
It's definitely the prettiest.
Now, here's one thing. So, now that they've made Sunset Shimmer, this actually is starting to make me raise questions. Like, I wonder if they're going to make, like, Flash Sentry at one point. But this sort of, like... I know this might be a little weird, but I sort of wonder, like, how they're going to, like, tackle the human designs if they were to make them into plushies.
Do they take suggestions, like, on their Twitter and stuff about things people want them to make next?
Yes. But I sort of, like, wonder how they might design these human, like, as plushies. Like, it's sort of making me curious right now.
Yeah.
I probably won't like it, but, like, I'm still curious nonetheless.
Surely there's one on DeviantArt where someone has made a plushie human.
Yeah, if the human designs were fan art, it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they designed a show based off of fan art,
yeah.
But they took the songs from High School Musical and the characters, like, designs from Monster High and just, like, mush these 3 aspects together.
That's exactly right.
And bam, you have Equestria Girls.
Yep. And some were merch.
Yeah. So now you have, like, another profitable, like, franchise.
Give us something to talk about, though.
But at least Hasbro cares about their fans and, like, gives into their every demand, like
20.
Adding all these, like, background ponies and, like, making the stories enjoyable. Unlike Mattel, who just likes to, like, make Thomas all random and stuff.
Right.
And just, like, have random parts added to him. So, in conclusion, I feel like Sunset Shimmer really does, like, help the show a little bit although I would still prefer Friendship is Magic over this. If she was added, I think it would have been cute as well, but I really can't complain too much because we have a plushie of her, so that's all that really matters to me. And I can't wait to see like what other like stuff they do, and I wonder how they'll tackle the Equestria Girls stuff if they decide to make it, or maybe they won't. Who knows? So, if there's one plushie you want somebody else to make, feel free to tell them what your ideas in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Bye.